Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, All About Alex. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. I don't know how you found my channel, but I'm so grateful for each and every one of you and my loyal subbies. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and you guys know how much I love you. So this video is going to be more of a chat with me. I figured since it was Christmas, for my third Vlogmas video, I really wanted to talk about my faith. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stick around. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow, and here we go. So the first thing I want to talk about is just like how I was led to my faith. I was about 8 or 9 when I started going to church. A friend asked me and my sister and my brother to go, and so we started going with them, and we really took to it. My mother was happy, although she wasn't very religious. She was happy that we decided to be involved because it just kind of gave us some positive do rather than, you know, being on the streets or getting in trouble, whatever. So we started going. We really loved it. There was like a huge group of children. It was a big children's ministries, so to speak. So we had a lot of friends, and we just did all kinds of activities together. We went on trips, and we stayed at each other's houses, and it was just really a great environment to be in. And so when I was 10, I ended up getting baptized, and I was so excited because I had a lot of trauma in my past, and so even at the age of 10. And so I really took to the idea of being washed clean and being a whole new person, and I leaped into that water. You hear me? I was just, like I said, I was so excited to be baptized, and my sister decided to get baptized with me. And so at the time, you know, back then, because I was a child, I had to come to my mom and ask my mom, was it okay? And She was like, yeah, it's fine. And that was it. I got baptized at 10. And I stayed in that church until I probably was like 19. It was a traditional Baptist church. And unfortunately, I was exposed to some negative things that I'll talk to you guys about in a different video. But needless to say, when I was 19, I left the church, and just because I had seen so much corruption and even in my own heart, like in my own life, I had gone on to have a baby out of wedlock. I had, you know, several different relationships, and this was all known throughout the church. And I felt like, you know, I'm looking around like I'm the same as everybody else here. So how are we helping each other? You know, nobody's saying anything to me, no one's counseling me or anything to try to get my life together. So I was just like, you know, I was one of those people like, oh, I can just do this on my own. I don't need to be, you know, a part of a church. I'm good. And so I lived like that for the next, let's see, my son was born in 99. So that would have made me 27. So yeah, for about 8 years, I lived like that, you know, and my life, of course, just went down and down and down and down and down. Although on one hand, I could say it was an upward trajectory as far as like me personally, like my lifestyle was going up, but my heart and the sinfulness in my life was definitely taking me way down. I went on to have 2 more children out of wedlock, and I was searching, and I went to, you know, my second son's father was a Muslim, so I went to the mosque with him several times, and, you know, checked that out, studied that out. And then I went to Seventh-day Adventist. I went to, my auntie was a Jehovah's Witness, so I studied that. I remember some Mormons came to my door, and so I studied with them, and I went to their church a few times, and I was just really searching because I think I had that background when I was so young of a church and just I guess the family type environment of being a part of a community like that. and just having that consistent thought of God being in your mind all the time and thinking about him and praying and, doing church activities and all those things. I had really connected to that part of being in church. And I was really looking for that. I knew something was missing. So um, I had my third son, and me and his father ended up getting married when he turned 1. And we were living in Missouri at the time when we got married. And then I got pregnant probably 4 months after we got married with our my fourth son, his second son. And I was so sick, and I had 3 other kids, and it was just like he was working all the time and stuff. And so we decided to move back here where we had family and stuff to help us. And so we moved back here, and just marriage troubles and life, and we were so poor, and with 3, now almost 4 kids, and it was just very, very hard. And I was just like getting super depressed, and we weren't getting along very well, and it was just difficult, y'all. It was hard. And I remember I had a good friend that her brother used to be married to my sister, and that's how we got to know each other. And we kind of were both in difficult marriages at the time, and so we would commiserate with each other and like talk and stuff. And I remember I, all of a sudden, whenever I would talk to her, she would always bring up God. This was new, and oh, you should come to church with me, and I'm gonna pray for you, and what can I do, and da da da. And I would be like, you know, let me figure out my problems first. Let me get my life together first, and then I'll think about going to church and having a relationship with God, blah blah blah. And so she persisted for months trying to get me to come to church with her, and I was just always making up excuses, always saying, no, 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 I got to do this, I got to do that, I can't, whatever. So she had gotten her son into a Catholic school, just because we really liked their curriculum, and just not that we weren't Catholics, but we really wanted our children, going back to me searching, I really wanted my kids to have a sense of what I had as a child, as far as the community of church, and just having it be your whole life. It be at home, it be at school, you're constantly inundated with godly things. And I really wanted that for my boys. And so, and we were living in a great neighborhood, but not a great school district. And so I really wanted to pursue that for him. And she was telling me about it, and I was like, well, we can't afford that. We don't have any money. Like, we are so broke. And she was like, I can help you get a scholarship. And so she helped me, figure out the paperwork I needed to get, and help me, get everything, all the things I needed to collect to get everything done and get the application turned in. And we got the grant, and went through the whole process. And I remember the last thing you have to do was sit down with the nuns. And, they, give you the final yes or no. And so me and my husband were sitting down there with the nuns, and they were like, everything looks great. My son was getting ready to be in kindergarten, and, they had assigned him to a teacher and everything, and, had already told us about transportation and all this stuff. And so she was like, the only thing I don't see is that you guys didn't put down a church affiliation. And she was like, you don't have to be Catholic, but we just want them to have some kind of church background, with the things that we're teaching them here can be, kind of reinforced at home. And so I was like, oh, yeah, we go to church all the time. I was like, oh, don't worry about that. We're good. We go to church. Yeah. I'm just lying y'all to the nuns. So we went home. We're like, whew, we thinking we, safe. I went home. My son started school. And I think by the end of the second week, when the first week is the second week, he came home. And he was like waving his little card when he got off the bus, and he was so excited. And he goes, Mommy, this is for my Sunday school teacher. My teacher said that I have to bring it back to school Monday. And it was a little card that he had to get filled out by his Sunday school teacher. And I was like, okay. So I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was like, ding, 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 ding. I remembered my friend had been asking me to go to church with her. And so I immediately called her, and Lord, you would have thought that the heaven gates had opened. She was so excited. She thought I had this huge epiphany because I was like, hey, sis, I think I want to go to church with you on Sunday. And she was like, oh, praise God. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I'm so excited. Yes. You know, she's running around the house screaming and hollering and just so excited for me. And I was like, no, my husband doesn't want to go, so I don't have a ride. We only had one car at the time. She's like, I'll come and get you and the kids. She was like, you're gonna love it. I was like, the kids? She was like, yeah, they have a whole children's ministry and even for the babies and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. So she comes to get me that Sunday, and I walk into the church. I'm carrying my youngest son. I got my other one, so he was 9 months. My other son was 2. I had a 6-year-old, and my other son who has cerebral palsy. He did stay home with my husband, so I don't have 3 with me. And I walk in, she started introducing me. Like, we immediately were surrounded by all these women from all different walks of life, all different races, all different ages. They all like just started coming up to us. And she was like, this is my friend, my sister, Alex, and these are her babies. And they just like kind of just were all like hugging me and just introducing themselves to me. And like, one of them took the baby out of my hands and was holding the baby and talking to the baby. And I was just like, ah. Because although some people would be taken aback by that, I loved it. Like, I have a twin. So I always say that I was born connected to a person. So I love the camaraderie and just like the closeness of women around me. I thrive on that. And so I have never looked back. That was in 2001, 2000, 2000. I got baptized in 2001. And I have been there ever since. I love it. I have a real sense of family, and I I wouldn't have it any other way. My faith has literally helped me get through some of the darkest times that I have ever gone through. And, it's helped me raise my boys. This church has helped me raise my boys. This church has held my marriage together. And I say this church, but it really is God. The church is filled with people who are fallible, and we hurt each other, and we have to forgive, and, this, that, and the other. But God and the family that He puts together, and because these people love Him, they were able to love us the way that they have. And so I really honestly feel like these are my sisters and brothers in the faith. And many of my best friends are in the church. My sister went on to get baptized. My sister-in-law and her husband are baptized. 2 of my sons are baptized. My husband went on to get baptized. And it just goes on and on and on. And so, like, it's just truly been a blessing to see what God has done in our lives over these last 20 years. And so, like I said, in thinking about Christmas and what it means to me, it really is like a love letter, I feel, from God, just like that He loved us so, so, so much that I have boys. My boys are everything to me. I love them so much. And when I think about God giving Jesus to the world for people that really didn't care about Him at all, I just can't imagine it. I'm just blown away by that type of love and um, graciousness and generosity and mercy that He had for us. I'm just I'm just so overwhelmed with gratitude. And so, and even when my boys were growing up around Christmas time, especially with the kids, they get so excited about the toys and Santa and, cookies and this, that, and other, and all the activities of Christmas. And I really wanted them to have a sense of Jesus and the significance of what this means for our faith. So we would like write letters to Jesus. we would leading up, so like from beginning of December to leading up to Christmas, we would start watching movies about Jesus. And when they were little, they were like little cartoons and things that they would talk about, you know, Jesus's birth and Veggie Tales and things like that. And then as they got older, it would be more like documentaries about his birth and them finding evidence of, you know, different locations and things that, you know, about his life and, you know, even his crucifixion, even though it was his birth that we're focusing on. But I wanted them just to know why Jesus was so important. And we would sing happy birthday to Jesus in the morning before anybody opened any presents. We would sing happy birthday to Jesus. And so, and I really want to share that with my grandbabies as well, as they get older. We've already started. I got them a bunch of, you know, Jesus Christmas books this year for Christmas, to lead. Well, not, you know, we already gave it to them, but just so we can start reading about Jesus and talking about Jesus. And they're really, really little. They're 2, 3, and 4, so they're still small. But I just want to start introducing it to them just so they can have that same sense of the real purpose of why we're celebrating Christmas. One of my favorite scriptures, probably my most favorite scripture, is Jeremiah 29:11. And I think that even though it doesn't specifically talk about the birth story of Jesus, it just, I think, epitomizes the fact that God loved us so much that he gave us Jesus. And it goes, for I know the plans I have for you, and they're plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And just thinking about that, I'm like, man, you know, God had a plan. Like, he was like, these are my people and I'm going to save them no matter what, even despite themselves. I'm going to save them. And I understand that kind of love because I have that kind of love for my sons. And just like knowing that he loves them more than I do, which is another, you know, mind-blowing thought. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and just kind of encourage you guys that this time of year, let's really take the time out to not only think about all the presents and the gifts and the hustle and bustle of this time. It can be very stressful. People have lost people. You know, people are going through divorces and separations and, you know, challenges financially, all kinds of things. But I think if we really focus on why we are celebrating this time of year, it can really help our hearts to be kinder, more gentle, more understanding, more patient with each other as we go into this Christmas holiday and then even into the new year and on to 2023. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love sharing my faith. I love talking about my love for God, and I'm going to continue to do more and more of this as the year goes on. But I hope you all have just a wonderful and very Merry Christmas and a beautiful and blessed New Year. Love you guys. Bye.